Imagine standing in the heart of Ohio. Not modern Ohio with its highways and bustling towns, but ancient Ohio. A place cloaked in more mystery and wonder. Now imagine this land not as a mere wilderness, but more as something closer to an ancient metropolis. At its center would stand the Newark Earthworks, or what we call the Newark Earthworks today, which of course is an engineering marvel that is so vast and sophisticated that it rivals the greatest achievements of antiquity. Among its most awe-inspiring features is, indeed, the Great Circle Earthworks, a structure so immense and precise that it still boggles the mind. The Newark Earthworks weren't just one site. They were part of a sprawling ceremonial complex, or what we perceive to be a ceremonial complex, that could have been the cultural and spiritual and perhaps a vast trade hub of the region. The Great Circle, one of the largest geometric earthworks ever constructed, was its crown jewel, if you will. Over 1,200 feet in diameter, with walls soaring up to 14 feet high and encircled by a wide, deep moat. It was more than a feat of engineering. It was a statement, a declaration of the people and the vision of the Hopewell culture, who we call the Hopewell culture. Which the Hopewell culture are said to have built it roughly 2,000 years ago. And the Hopewell isn't necessarily a single tribe. They're more of a network of interconnected communities spanning much of what we now call the eastern United States. The Great Circle was likely a hub for these communities, a gathering place for ceremonies, trade, and astronomical observations. Its entrance aligns with the summer solstice sunrise, suggesting it functioned as a massive sacred calendar. Imagine standing there on that pivotal morning, the first rays of sunlight streaming through the gateway, bathing the sacred space in light. This wasn't just architecture, it was cosmic alignment. Constructing something of this scale required moving untold tons of earth, all without metal tools that we know of, though they may have had some copper tools. They certainly didn't have any wheels that we know of, or they also didn't have any, how would you say, and maybe beasts of burden, things like horses and cattle and that sort of thing. They didn't work with animals like that. The Hopewell, as we know, used different wooden spade tools, different stone tools, and primarily woven baskets to achieve a level of precision that would challenge modern engineers. And this wasn't an isolated effort either. Surrounding the Great Circle are other geometric formations, including octagons, squares, and elongated avenues. Together, they form a network of earthworks that spread across miles, connected by different trails and different waterways. These weren't merely practical paths, they were symbolic arteries, linking communities and sacred sites in a cultural tapestry. But the Newark Earthworks were more than just meeting places, they were also, like I said, nodes in a vast trade network. Artifacts found at these sites include copper from the Great Lakes, mica from the Appalachian Mountains, and shells from the Gulf Coast. These weren't just trade goods either, they were symbols of connection, items imbued with spiritual significance upon the greater region, what is now called the United States. The Hopewell weren't isolated, they were part of a vibrant exchange of ideas, goods, and beliefs, and the Great Circle stands as a testament to their vision, a vision that saw the world as interconnected. Yet for all its grandeur, the Hopewell culture did eventually fade or perhaps evolve into a new set of cultures. The reasons do remain unclear, as their disappearance is pretty debated upon, which is why I speculate that it just simply evolved. But was it potentially, did it evolve because of climate change? Was there internal conflict? Was there potentially a disease that we don't know about? One thing's for certain, though, is that their decline does still leave behind that questions that we're still trying to answer to this day, and hopefully one of you guys will be able to answer it one day. The Great Circle and its companion earthworks do become overgrown now, their purpose now forgotten by the time European settlers had arrived. Much of the Newark Earthworks was destroyed in the name of, well, modern civilization. It was plowed under for farms and for roads and railways and other things for modern civilizations. But the Newark Earthworks as a whole would have literally stood as what is really only perceived as an ancient metropolis. I mean, this would have been, in comparison to things like Cahokia or other large centers, Poverty Point, it would have been a huge set of area that would have been settled and ultimately used, especially when you consider the fact that the Great Hopewell Road also connected other sites in Newark to places like Chillicothe, which we'll talk more about that in another video. We have talked about it slightly before, but we'll delve into that later. For now, standing in the Great Circle today, you can't help but feel the weight of history. The earth beneath your feet was shaped by the hands guided by a purpose that we can only guess at. Were these spaces used for rites of passage, for astronomical calculations, for uniting a far-flung people under a shared spiritual banner? The Great Hopewell Road. Video in the comments and description, by the way. The truth may be all of these things or something we haven't yet speculated. What's clear is that the Hopewell culture saw their world differently than we do today. To them, probably the physical and spiritual realms were intertwined in some way, shape, or form, a more shamanistic view of looking at things. And shaping the earth was a way of also shaping the cosmos in a way, perhaps. Who knows? The Great Circle, though, isn't just an archaeological site. It's a humbling reminder of human potential, especially ancient human potential. It challenges our assumption about the past and our place in the long arc of history as we know it. I mean, really, think about it. A society without modern tools that we really know of created something so enduring, so precise, that it still stands as a marvel 2 millennia later. Potentially older than that, we don't really know. So what does that say about us with all of our technology and resources today? How will our monuments fare in 2,000 years? Will perhaps our skyscrapers and satellites inspire awe, or will they crumble into obscurity, leaving the future generations, our descendants, to puzzle over our dreams and ambitions? The Great Circle forces us to confront these questions. It's a call to humility, a reminder that no society is invincible, and a testament to the enduring power of vision and collaboration. It's easy to dismiss ancient peoples as primitive, but standing in the shadow of the Great Circle, you realize how misguided that notion truly is. These were people who dreamed big, who saw the universe in every grain of sand, and who believed that the shaping of the earth could bring them closer to that of the divine. Well, we think. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it has been Doogie from Doogie's Earthworks. I love you.